Hello, I'm Dr. Rosanna Perotti, a professor in the Department of Political Science at Hofstra and the faculty advisor of the Hofstra Model United Nations Club. I want to thank all of you high school delegates for coming to the 11th annual Hofstra Model United Nations Conference. As I record these remarks, the UN General Assembly is preparing to meet for an emergency special session to discuss the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This GA meeting will be the first of its kind in 40 years and the 11th such session in UN history. The UN is stepping up the work of its human rights monitoring mission in Ukraine, and diplomats and ordinary people from all over the world have demanded accountability from Russia for invading a country that has no nuclear weapons. I think you'd agree that there's no better time for us to devote ourselves to learning how to prevent and settle international disputes in a peaceful way. Model UN is fun and engaging, but I remind you that the disputes you'll be discussing are real and life-threatening for so many. As citizens of a relatively stable, peaceful, and wealthy democracy, it's incumbent upon us to do whatever we can to protect human rights and dignity throughout the world. That starts with educating ourselves about the world's problems and the methods for peacefully resolving conflict. This conference was developed by Hofstra students themselves, students from Long Island who had a passion for Model UN and wanted to share it with high school students. The country at the time was still climbing out of a recession, and many high school budgets had been cut. Our students wanted to create an accessible college campus experience located closer to home. What have Hofstra's MUN students accomplished in 10 years of high school MUN conferences? Well, we've introduced our own students to the rigors of research and publishing. We've supported a network of teaching colleagues who are using experiential learning to help students learn history, economics, sociology, and political science. We've developed leadership skills among high school and Hofstra students. We've helped students in Long Island from widely disparate backgrounds to encounter each other, to discuss their views in a civil, thoughtful way, and to weigh seriously some of the most pressing problems in our world. And yes, we've had a little fun. Our Model UN Secretariat have gone on to graduate and professional schools and on to careers in law, politics, journalism, and business. Many of the students who competed in our high school conferences have enrolled at Hofstra and go on to work with Model UN here on campus. This weekend, dear high school friends, you're entering the world as professionals. I encourage you to abide by some ground rules as you begin your deliberations. Listen to other voices. Listening is as important as speaking. Consider each idea fairly. Look at its benefits and its trade-offs. See to it that everyone is encouraged to participate and that no one or two individuals dominate the discussion. Don't allow yourselves to shut down other voices. Realize that it's okay to disagree, but do so with curiosity, not hostility. Learn more about how others think. That's one of the most important parts of personal and international diplomacy. I want to thank all of your advisors who take each year so much time to prepare you for this conference. COVID made this another year like no other, but it was your advisors who reached out to us and sought to keep COVID from taking this from you yet again. I'd like to thank our alumnus, Mike Lucevero, a consultant for nonprofits who has lent so much advice and time to our MUN students at Hofstra. Vice President Melissa Connolly, and to our dear colleague, Joanna Farrell, who have done so much to make the logistics of this conference possible. And I also want to thank our dynamic, energetic, and thoughtful student leadership team headed by Secretary General Mike Roller and Undersecretary General Arsalan Jamal. I'd also like to thank their dedicated set of committee chairs who take time from their own research and study to draft background guides, and mentor high school students. We ask you to please respect these members of our community. Work cooperatively with Hofstra students you meet here. We hope you'll come back to Hofstra, take part in a college visit someday, and enjoy what our community has to offer the larger Long Island community. We're looking forward to seeing you. Delegates and Secretariat, I wish you good luck in your important work. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Arsalan Jamal, and I am the Undersecretary General of Hofstra University's Mall United Nations Conference. It is my honor to welcome you all here today to participate in HUMUNC 2022. Looking back at this year, as well as our previous conference, Mike and I had a lot of thoughts in mind about which direction we would like our conference to go. For those that weren't a part of it, our last year's conference was the first conference we held online. During our closing ceremony, we were both optimistic about the possibilities of returning back to a traditional in-person style conference. However, as we quickly realized the pandemic was far from over, we were once again put in a precarious position to decide how best to proceed. With the help of all of our staff, our university, and most importantly, your enthusiasm, I am thrilled that we have finally reached this day. I'd like to thank you all for being here and for your continued interest in this year's HUMUNC 2022. As we witness the ongoing crisis around the world today, we are ever more confident in the purpose and importance of conferences like these ones. One where students remain interested in discussing current international issues, having positive discourse, and gaining the confidence to speak their mind. We commend you for your hard work, and we hope that you find benefit in debating topics, having conversations with other delegates, and having fun. I began my Mall UN career in college almost 4 years ago, and as I sat at my very first meeting, I understood right away the opportunity in front of me, of becoming a more educated individual about current international issues, becoming a better public speaker, and learning the importance of compromise and dialogue. This attracted me to participate more in organizing our Mall United Nations conferences and participating in other conferences as well, and 4 years later, here I am. As we begin our conference today, I would like you all to keep these ideas in mind as you go about debating, researching, and understanding the issues ahead of you. Though this online conference isn't our first one, there are going to be expected challenges with an online platform, and we hold you all to be patient, compassionate, and respectful towards one another and towards our staff. Second, challenge yourself. I was once in the same position as yourself, and looking back, I urge you all to continue trying new things, becoming a helpful delegate in your committee, and gaining confidence in your voice. So while you're all socially distanced or at home, be nice to one another and understand the amazing opportunity you have this weekend to make friends and gain experience. With that being said, I'll pass it off to my friend and our Secretary General, Mike Roller.
Thank you, Arsalan, and good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Roller, and it's my honor and pleasure to be serving as the 11th Secretary General to the Hofstra University Model United Nations Conference. Thank you all for joining us this weekend for an exciting few rounds of parliamentary debate with our distinguished chairs and hardworking staff. But before I begin my address, I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone that made this event possible. Dr. Rosanna Perotti, our club advisor, Johanna Farrell, our event coordinator, and Michael Lucevero, our paper editor. Without their contributions, this event would not have taken place. Thank you for all you've done. This year, our team has put together a conference that is better than ever, with a record number of 7 committees for you all to enjoy. From discussing the cost of climate change to the implications of AI on the battlefield, this conference will be covering a really wide range of topics. You all will have the opportunity to resolve some of humanity's greatest challenges today, to settle the problems of the past, or to unravel the issues of tomorrow. But before we begin the discussions this weekend, I ask that you take a few moments to think about the world as it is today. As a community, we are reconnecting and finding ways to move forward in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. As a nation, we're dividing as our foundational democratic institutions shake and crack under the pressure of unmitigated polarization. As a globe, we're enduring the effects of climate change We're seeing the continued rise of authoritarianism and watching as tyrants begin unjust wars with unknown implications on the international forces we trust the most. On nearly every front, it seems we're on the verge of a period of despair, the precipice of an unbalanced and unjust world. However, despite the major setbacks we see and experience every single day, the fight is not over. We have not tapped out. We have not conceded. We are not finished yet. We still have the opportunity to have our voices heard by going the extra mile and standing for what we know is right. We can still be the change we want to see in the world, to be movers and shakers, offer a new perspective, and reach out to the people next to us, ahead of us and behind us, pulling everyone forward and making the world a better place to live. This week's conference is not merely a simulated discussion. It's your chance to practice the thing that's the most important thing you'll ever need to master in your life: your voice. In desperate times like these, the world needs your voice more than anything. We need strong advocates, hardy allies, anti-racists, people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in the most, people who are willing to take action in the face of adversity or seize a moment of opportunity. There is no issue too small to be discussed, nor is there an issue too overwhelming to be handled together. This year at HUMUNC, we're determined to give you all a platform to refine your voice, work through cooperation, and overcome adversity. No matter if it's your first time participating in a Model UN conference or if you're an experienced gavel getter, we're here to support you and help you all grow as speakers, problem solvers, and collaborators. 5 years ago, I sat where you are now, as a delegate in the Hofstra UN conference. I learned a lot that week, mostly from my peers, about how to work in a group diligently and solve problems. Through collaboration and persistence, I helped push my block to a passing resolution and helped solidify one of my friends as the committee's best delegate. Since then, one has helped place opportunities at my feet and given me the confidence to take them. Throughout the weekend, I ask that you focus on your voice and the impact you can make with it. Whether you're setting the agenda, shifting the focus to a problem within a working paper, motioning to open debate, or even just abstaining during a vote. I hope you all understand that your input is a critical inclusion to the debate. And I hope you'll use your skills you learned from Model UN to help build the world back better, stronger, more fair. Thank you again for joining us this weekend. Give it everything you got. And with that, I'd like to officially open HUMUNC 2022. Have fun, everyone.